There's a specific flavor of 90s cartoon chaos that only a show like Dial M for Monkey could serve. Part superhero parody, part neon absurdism, and part how did this get past standards and practices. And nowhere is that formula more volatile than the infamously controversial episode The Barbequer, an episode so messy it ended up being quietly shelved, lightly whispered about, and ultimately swept off Cartoon Network's rotation like a culinary accident no one wanted to claim. But the real story isn't just the barbecuer himself. The bigger, louder, and more thornier problem came from another character in the episode, Silver Spooner, a flamboyantly effeminate parody of Marvel's Silver Surfer. And when I say flamboyant, I mean the character was written and performed as such an exaggerated gay stereotype that even 1990s viewers raised an eyebrow. It wasn't ironic, it wasn't affectionate, and it definitely wasn't codded. It was blatant. Silver Spooner sashayed, fluttered, pranced, and flirted in ways that felt less like a parody and more like mining every outdated Hollywood trope of effeminate gay male character and blasting it through a megaphone. The intention, of course, was to parody the sleek, stoic, cosmic surfer archetype by doing the exact opposite, making him a high energy, campy diva with a fixation on decor and style. But the execution was less clever subversion and more, hey kids, look at this walking stereotype. And that's where the episode's problems truly began. Marvel, famously protective of its characters even back then, was not amused, as in absolutely furious, legal letter level not amused. The Silver Spooner name was already skating on thin ice, but turning their ultra serious cosmic herald into a flamboyant stereotype was the last straw. Reports circulated that Marvel lodged formal complaints, which contributed to Cartoon Network yanking the episode out of circulation. It wasn't just the sensitive portrayal, it was the fact that the character was so obviously, unmistakably a Silver Surfer parody that Marvel saw it as a mockery instead of a homage. Combine Marvel's complaints with parents contacting the network about their stereotypical portrayal, and you had a perfect shitstorm. Suddenly, the barbecuer wasn't just another silly villain, it was collateral damage in an episode that managed to offend an entertainment giant and spark backlash for its caricature of gay men. Cartoon Network's solution? Make the entire episode disappear. No reruns, no acknowledgement, no apology tour, just a quiet burial. Now, looking back, it's a fascinating artifact of an animation era that was still figuring out where the line between parody and problematic stereotype was. Shows like Dexter's Laboratory wanted to inject edgy adult winks into their kid-friendly framework, but the cultural awareness just wasn't there yet. Silver Spooner reads today as the kind of portrayal writers wouldn't reject on sight, not because they're afraid to offend anyone, but because it's just lazy shorthand humor dressed up as satire. And that's what makes this episode such an interesting case study. You have a flamboyant caricature drawn from the oldest Hollywood playbook. You have an alien villain dripping with codding that audiences picked up on immediately. You have a children's show that accidentally sparked a copyright dispute. And you have a network that responded by shoving the whole thing into the vault and pretending it never happened. In the end, the barbecuer isn't infamous because it was shocking. Instead, it was infamous because it was avoidable. It's a relic of a time when cartoons threw jokes at the wall to see what stuck, unaware of those jokes came with decades of harmful baggage attached. It didn't tank Dial M for Monkey, it didn't tarnish Dexter's Lab, and it didn't create a firestorm. But it did become a quiet cautionary tale, a reminder that parody works best when it punches up, not sideways, or worse, down. And sometimes even a 5-minute joke on cable animation can end up surfboarding straight into legal trouble, cultural critique, and the memory hole. If you want genuine video essays on cult films, retro animation, and forgotten pop culture, subscribe to Pulp Vision. No content farms, no trend chasing, no slop. Just real analysis. Thanks for watching.